This conversation was never just about cars. It's about energy. It's about global markets. And right now, it's about geopolitics because we're seeing it play out in real time. Tensions in the Middle East, concerns around the Strait of Hormuz, a single choke point that a massive portion of the world's oil supply flows through. And when that gets disrupted, prices move fast. That's the reality of a system built around a globally traded commodity. So this isn't just about EVs anymore. It's about how we power transportation in a volatile world. This is part 5, the final episode in our EVs vs. ICE series. We've covered cost, we've covered range and charging, we've covered policy and U.S. automaker strategy. Today, we zoom all the way out, the global race, and who's building the future of transportation. Electric vehicles aren't just a product shift, they're an energy shift, and they're a manufacturing shift. Because today, transportation is tied heavily to oil, a single global commodity influenced by geopolitics, supply shocks, and international conflicts. We're seeing right now how quickly that can impact prices. Electricity works a little differently. It can be generated from multiple sources, from solar, wind, nuclear, and natural gas. And increasingly, it can be produced closer to where it's used. That diversification matters, because the question isn't just what you drive, it's what system you depend on. So take China. They didn't just adopt EVs. They built an entire ecosystem around them. Battery production, mineral processing, vehicle manufacturing, all scaled aggressively. Companies like BYD are vertically integrated, meaning they control large portions of their supply chain. That allows them to move faster and control cost, and they're expanding globally. This isn't just about selling cars. It's a long-term strategy to lead in manufacturing and technology and energy systems tied to transportation. Europe, they took a different route. They used policy to push a transition forward. Emission standards, fuel economy targets, clear timelines. That created pressure on automakers to invest. And now Europe has rapid EV adoption, significant battery investment, a defined trajectory. It's not perfect, but it's consistent. And in manufacturing, consistency matters. Now, the U.S. position is a bit different. America still has major strengths: engineering talent, global brands, innovation. And there are real investments happening. But the challenge is consistency, policy shifts, changing signals, stop-and-go momentum. At the same time, some U.S. automakers are leaning back toward internal combustion in the near term. And maybe that's strategic. Maybe it's, let's wait this cycle out. But the global market isn't waiting. China is scaling. Europe is pushing forward. Newer companies are continuing to invest. And here's a risk: falling behind not just in vehicles, but also in manufacturing scale, supply chains, and technology. Because once you fall behind in industries like this, it's very hard to catch up. So at its core, this comes back to energy. Gasoline depends on oil. Oil is global. It's volatile. It's influenced by events you can't control. We're seeing that right now. A disruption in one part of the world can ripple across the entire economy. Electricity doesn't eliminate risk, but it changes the equation. It can be generated domestically from multiple sources, including renewables that have no fuel cost. That creates flexibility, and over time, more stability. So the real question isn't, do you like EVs, or is every EV perfect? They're not, and they won't replace everything overnight. The real question is, where is the world going and who's building it? Because this shift is already happening, and it's accelerating. You don't have to buy an EV, but the system around transportation, it is changing. And the countries and companies that build it, that's going to be who defines the next generation of the auto industry. So that wraps up our 5-part EV vs. ICE series. Appreciate you following along. We'll keep breaking this down with real-world context and straight talk, because this conversation isn't slowing down. We'll catch you next time.